Ajá. Pero... ¿no te frustra el estar atado a un camino? ¿No quieres avanzar?
In the folly of my youth, I might have thought about it, yes. But then I realized that half of what goes wrong in this world has to do with the desire to advance. I am interested in living the righteous path and to contribute to the preservation of my people. That's enough for me, and only the faithful will be granted the eternal paths upon death.
¿Quiénes son los
Men or women who
incaminos?
have never received the path consecration, or those who have broken their path. Brigands, glimmer dust smugglers, murderers, well, you know.
En Nerim hay un rumor que dice que los dioses están muertos.
And over here, there's a rumor that the Golden Queen has a weakness for men in gowns. Seriously, be careful with that kind of gossip. I know you don't mean any harm, but there are a few who might consider it heresy.
Joder. Un interesante pensamiento.
Well, I didn't come up with it.
Vale. Eso es todo lo que necesito. Gracias por tu ayuda.
Don't mention it. I wish you a quick recovery and safe roads. Walk blessed. Carbos, do we need the still tomorrow? Or can I clean all the tools?
Lazy Spin, I'm playing. Don't bother me.
I guess that means no.
Oh, what? ¿Qué está pasando?
By the righteous path? What happened to you? You look as if you've met the Black Guardian himself.
Sí, de repente he tenido esta especie de fiebre. ¿Tienes alguna idea de qué podría ser?
Fever? Well, there could be many causes. Wait a moment. I think I still have some grunt root. That should be enough to ease your pain, at least for now. Take a seat at the fire. The warmth might help you.
Oh, so now we're brewing potions for complete strangers.
Well, if the strangers are about to die of fever, then yes. There was that oath we swore once, remember? To help the afflicted, to...
Whatever.
Thank you. Gruntroots.
Pobrecillo, tío. Finn me cae bien. Seguramente morirá. Joder, aquí matan a todo el mundo que me cae bien. Me gustaría hacer alquimia. Y me gustaría haber conseguido un melón más, maldita sea. Tío asesinado con los melones.
Sheer cup, some water. Ha! Done. I can't make any promises, but...
Finn, the still.
¿Qué pasa? ¡Oh, mierda!
Do something, damn it! Do something! Oh, no. Oh, sod it.
Do I really have to watch every step you take? That was a fucking close call.
Hey, I'm sorry, all right. We'll pick up a new one in Ark.
Yeah, you're paying for it. Here I thought this bloody day couldn't get any worse.
This day isn't getting any better. Here, drink this. It'll help you.
Ok. Abre la botella y bebe la poción.
See, you already look a lot better. Still, you should let a priest take a look at that fever as soon as possible. The grunt root potion will wane in a few days.
Gracias. Pero, ¿qué demonios acaba de ocurrir ahí atrás?
What? You mean the still? Bad quality. And too much heat, I'd wager. But, whatever will be, will be.
Pero, la explosión, las voces, eran las vuestras.
Explosion? I'm not sure I follow.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Finn Dalaris. Died in 8234. Cause of death, exploding still.
Ha ha. Look, I really don't know what you're talking about. Maybe...
Wait a second. What was that?
Joder, les van a atacar, tío.
I could have sworn I saw something moving over there.
Creo que hemos visto el futuro.
Oh, shit.
¡No!
What the? Carbos!
They've hit me, Finn. Those bastards. They've hit me.
Joder, mierda, tío, al suelo.
Do something, damn it! Do no!
Now would you look at that? Our mysterious survivor has awoken.
¿Qué? ¿Dónde estoy? ¿Quién eres tú?
Jaspar Matumiel Delveric. Jaspar for short. And you, my friend, are in my very own campsite. And before you ask, yes, the bandits killed both of the apothecary. The only reason you're still alive is that the impact of the explosion threw you right into a thicket. Luckily enough, most of your injuries are only superficial, and I've already taken care of them. Your fever, though, is an entirely different story.
¿Cómo sabes todo esto? ¿Estabas ahí cuando atacaron?
Suffice it to say I was on the perimeter. And no, I didn't help for two reasons. One, I was outnumbered like crazy. And two, I'm in a happy relationship with my entrails. I wish I had a more heroic answer for you, but I don't. Sorry.
Mi fiebre. ¿Sabes algo acerca de ella?
Yep, quite a lot actually. You're suffering from first-degree Arcanist's fever. I'm quite surprised that the old apothecarius didn't see that, to be honest. You're suddenly capable of doing things you previously knew only from the bard songs, right? And you're feeling unusually strong and dizzy at the same time? While drinking herbal potions leaves a, well, kind of a bitter feeling in your head?
Sí. Sí, lo hace. Entonces esta fiebre arcana es responsable de estas cosas que de repente puedo hacer. ¿La magia?
Yep. Your magical talent has broken free inside you. I don't have any myself, but I've worked together with enough arcanists to know the signs. Simply put, what's happening is that your body can't cope with the magic. This isn't much of a problem at first, but if you don't do anything about it within the next couple of months, you'll find yourself running through the heartland naked, throwing fireballs at everything that moves. You'll lose your mind, to speak plain and all.
Ajá. Pero se puede tratar la fiebre, ¿verdad?
Yes, of course. Though someone who's magically gifted will always react differently to certain situations than someone who isn't. As I said, some herbs will always worsen your fever, as will magically contaminated areas.
Así que esta fiebre empeora cuando bebo pociones.
Among other things, yes. Just as being magically gifted can make a person powerful, it can also make them sensitive and prone to certain conditions. Just don't overdo it sleeping in ruins or in the wilderness. Instead, set up a camp somewhere. Plus, as you've already said yourself, don't overdo it with potions.
¿Y qué ocurre si hago estas cosas? ¿Cómo me afecta la fiebre exactamente?
Well, that depends on how bad it gets. At first, you'll suffer these diffuse headaches from time to time. Then your sight will permanently blur. And then you'll suffer a case of acute death, so to speak.
¿La fiebre puede matarme?
Yep. Everything has its price, as the wise hermit likes to say.
¿Y cómo puedo tratarla? ¿Con este Grand Root?
What? No. That won't help you in the long run. What you need is ambrosia, a special mixture of herbs that can remedy the fever without any side effects. Every good alchemist has that in stock, but it'll cost you.
¿Y qué es de las visiones?
Visions?
Sí, así las llamo. Tengo estas especies de premoniciones, de cosas que van a ocurrir. ¿También son un efecto secundario de la fiebre?
Are you sure?
¡Oh, mierda!
The Enderalian spider plague's known to cause visions in the infected. And if that's what you got in that old temple, you should start digging your grave. Because your body parts will start falling off in a few hours if you don't do something about it.
¿Qué? ¿Dónde puedo encontrar la cura?
Nowhere, because that plague doesn't exist. I have no idea what kind of visions you're talking about, since the only visions I know of are those that come along with a good pipe of peaceweed.
Ah,
But your reaction shows that you were trying to keep something from me, and that's not a good idea if you want my help.
¡no quería!
You know what?
Es que el menú no
Someone has to
responde.
take care of your fever. And as it happens, I know someone who could. But in return, I want you to tell me everything. How did you get here? And what did you do in that temple? And what exactly did you see in those visions? I can't put my finger on it, but there's something strange about you. And that makes me curious. So, healing for information. What do you say?
Curación a cambio de información. De acuerdo.
Then shoot. I'm eager to listen. I understand. My condolences for your loss.
Vale, pero no te mueras, eres el único
So
al que
that
conozco.
means you somehow survived this execution. And before you got washed ashore, you had this, this dream? In which you saw burnt bodies and a blinding light.
Sí, pero no era solamente un sueño. Era algo más, como una memoria. El templo que vi en ellas era exactamente el mismo que el que está en el valle. ¿Sabes a lo que me refiero?
I hope so. So your magical outburst didn't happen slowly as it usually does, but all of a sudden after this near-death experience. And with it came these visions.
Correcto.
Interesting. I guess you know how absurd all this must sound, but somehow I believe you. Heck knows why, but I do. So, that means I'll introduce you to my employer. If anyone can help you, it's him. There is, however, one thing with which I could use a hand. The sooner we get that done, the sooner we can start our journey to Ark.
¿Qué es exactamente Arca?
Ark? The capital of this country? Walls high as towers of iron-hard stone, rest alone in the mountains in granite enthroned, never decaying, the ages surveying, guarded by the Lord, and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. If you plan on staying in this land, sooner or later you'll see it with your own eyes.
Ajá. ¿Quién es el que te contrata?
Well, aren't you curious? I like that. I work for the Holy Order.
La Orden Sagrada. ¿Te refieres a la unidad militarizada de los dioses?
Yes, but as you might know, this is the realm of Malphas, the guardian of the Lightborn. And here, the Order basically reigns for him. It's both the spiritual and judicial center of this country, so believe me, you'll see for yourself soon enough.
¿Y si no quiero ayudarte?
That's your call, I suppose. My curiosity is satisfied. But without me accompanying you, the guards won't let you into the Sun Temple in Ark, and that's where you need to go in order to treat your fever. But as I said, no hard feelings on my side if you want to play the lone wolf.
Está bien, te ayudaré. Cuanto antes me libere de esta fiebre, mejor.
Splendid. There are some things that need some explanation before we can get started, however. Where should I start? I take it you've noticed that in the past 2.5 years, this world has fallen into political chaos, right? Civil wars, usurpers everywhere, you name it. And even though Enderal isn't directly affected by these wars going on everywhere, there are strange things happening here too. Take the Woods-Ears, for example. There have been an unusual number of reports of wanderers being attacked by them in the open, which has never happened before. And the same goes for the Lost Ones, the living dead. Until 2 years ago, they were a rather rare magical phenomenon. But now every other corpse not properly cremated starts walking again as if it were the most natural thing to do. The strangest thing, however, is what they call the Red Madness.
¿Crees que de alguna manera este caos está relacionado con los rumores de la muerte de los nacidos de luz? Todo el mundo en Neirin habla de ello.
Yeah, the rumors. I've heard them too. And I could indeed imagine that they're true. And that there's a connection, yes.
Entonces, ¿crees que alguien mató al nacido de la luz.
As I said, maybe. If you ask me, the Lightborn were never more than false gods anyway.
¿Qué piensan los endraleanos?
Well, they usually leave the thinking to their holy order. And they, of course, deny everything. Even to talk about it as we're doing is considered a crime. But as much as I hate to say it, maybe it's better this way. At least for now. A spiritual crisis is the last thing this country needs at the moment.
Y yo que pensaba que los endraleanos era la gente más pura del mundo civilizado.
Please, don't take me as an example. I've seen that a long life is only one of the things powerful magic can achieve. And this whole false deity theory isn't that new, after all. And seriously, let's say the Lightborn really are as mighty and omnipresent as the revelations say they are. Wouldn't they have the power to magically smite me here and now for my insolence? The Lightborn were just powerful kings. No more, no less. But that's just how I see it. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Nada más lejos de la realidad.
Splendid. You never know. But we're digressing.
Cierto. Has mencionado algo sobre la locura roja.
Yeah. It's some kind of mental illness that makes people lose their minds. Just a couple of weeks ago, for instance, there was a smith in Ark who slaughtered his entire family. He was drunk, but that doesn't explain why he screamed things like, "Fear the light," while he was doing it. Or a young noblewoman who killed herself by setting her family estate on fire for no apparent reason.
O
Now, you might say that these kinds of things happen, but by now there have been more than a dozen of them. That and the fact that the possessed's eyes glow red shortly before and during their deed has made people call it the Red Madness. And just 3 days ago it happened again. Only this time it was a magister from within the Holy Order itself.
joder. Lo de los ojos, que te lo tenía el padre. Que se vuelven locos y asesinan a la gente. Los muertos que se entierran y se levantan. Hostia, todo empieza a encajar, tío.
Right, you're not from here. A magister is a kind of sage from the Holy Order, who teaches the young novices who are aspiring to become keepers or arcanists. Yarrow was his name, a man who had more than 60 winners on his back.
¿Y qué hizo?
He killed 15 novices and himself. According to the only eyewitness to survive, he entered the teaching room as usual to give a lecture on alchemy. But instead, he gave a strange speech in which he explained that humanity is corrupt, void, as he put it. And his eyes started glowing, he locked the door, and, well, he tore himself apart with a magical explosion. You can imagine the kind of uproar that caused.
Es terrible.
And unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
¿Y cuál es tu papel en todo esto? Dijiste que trabajabas para la orden, pero... Eso te... O sea, imagino que... No eres ningún tipo de monje, ¿no?
Well, I'm not exactly one for vows and austerity, so no, I'm no keeper. I guess you could say my specialty is recovering things that have been lost. Treasures, tomes, memories, and the like. And the Order hired me to do exactly that. They want to know how a highly intelligent man like Yarrow could fall victim to the Red Madness. And also if there's a discernible pattern to how this malady, or whatever it is, chooses its victims.
En otras palabras, estás buscando los motivos. ¿Cómo puedo ayudarte? No sé nada sobre Yarrow.
True, but that's irrelevant. Yarrow grew up in a small village named Riverville, which isn't far from here. And according to some of the other wardens, he visited this area quite often after his partner's death. So it's quite possible we could find some clues around here. Shards of his past, if you like. I've already searched most of the area, but a second pair of eyes wouldn't hurt. What do you think?
Parece un buen plan. ¿Por dónde empiezo?
Well, for starters, I need you to travel to Riverville and talk to an old man named Alfred. He was a childhood friend of Yarrow's, and he might be able to tell us something worthwhile. Secondly, a boy from the village told me that he saw Yarrow throw something into the water near a cliff to the east. Go there and see if you can find whatever it was he wanted to get rid of. I myself will have a look at the house Yarrow grew up in. Here, this is a map of the region. The blue dot over here is Yarrow's old house. And at the risk of sounding heartless, you should head back to the apothecary's camp. Maybe the bandits left behind some equipment. If there's nothing else, I'd say off we go. Let's shed some light on this Yarrow and his motivations. Meet me at his old house when you're ready. I'll be waiting there.
Ok. Si el marcador de una misión está marcado con una o más estrellas, indican la dificultad de dicha misión. Y al mismo tiempo el nivel que deberías de tener para emprender esa misión. Oh, una estrella muy fácil, 2 fácil, 3 medio, 4 difícil. Ah. Fantástico. ¿Puedo dormir un ratito? ¿Puedo robarte? ¿Puedo robarte? ¡Gracias! Puedo robarte. Estaba deseando robarle a alguien. Oh, yeah. Oye, ¿y esto? ¿Esto qué era? Old Vagrant Gloves. Ah, pues mira. Mejor que los que llevamos. Y vamos a dormir un ratito. ¡Jejeje! ¡Fantástico! Bueno, chicos. Pues no ha estado mal por esta sesión. Yo creo que nos vamos a quedar aquí. Vale, tengo calabaza, pero no es la calabaza correcta. Yo creo que nos vamos a quedar aquí descansando con este hombre que se llamaba Jespar. Y después vamos a seguir explorando todo este sitio a ver qué encontramos sobre el misterio de este tío que tuvo la locura roja. Así que nada, chicos, espero que os haya gustado esta sesión y espero que tengáis ganas de más. Nos vemos en la próxima. Hasta luego. Adiós.